Hey, I'm about to go level up. I cannot settle for nothing. I never been regular. Always knew I could do better. I finally made it this far and I'm not looking back. Made it to see all the time that I put in. Now me and the money are way too attached. Still repping 919. The city is mine and I put it all on the map. Coming for what I deserve. I put in the work. Now I'm about to level up.
We at Resilience Unscripted would like to thank Breaking Barriers Recovery Home for sponsoring this week's episode.
This week's episode of Resilience Unscripted is sponsored by PK Law Group.
Hi, we're back for another episode of Resilience Unscripted. This week I have Nicole Barsky with me, and she's here to share her story.
Yes, I am. Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
You're welcome.
So how do we do this? You want me to just start from the beginning?
Usually I have people introduce themselves.
Okay.
They'll kind of go through what their journey was, and then it's totally up to you. You can take the reins, whatever you want to talk about. So no pressure.
So ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a 4-hour podcast if we're talking about me. So my name is Nicole Barsky. I have a couple decades under my belt.
Yeah.
Thank you. But I have today, God willingly, I'll make it till midnight and I'll have another day. That's how I look at it. My story isn't, I'm not into the war story thing. I'll just tell it how it is. I have co-occurring both mental health as well as substance use disorder. And I remember when I took my first drink, I was 9 years old, and I got an A- on a book report. So in my family, there was no A-. You got hit, it was bad. So I remember thinking to myself, well, when my dad drinks, right, he seems like lucid, he doesn't care about anything, so why don't I try that? And that's exactly what I did at 9 years old. And so I drank, and then I got the balls. Can we swear?
You can swear.
Okay, good.
We're on safe harbor hours, so this gets issued after 10.
Okay.
You're good.
So he has the ball, so I needed those balls to call him and say I got an A-, not an A. It was a very strict, household and stuff, which puts a lot of pressure on a young lady.
Yeah.
And then I fell in love, right? I fell in love with alcohol. And then I found, it's like peanut butter and jelly, right? Alcohol and drugs. So I kept going. So at 9, I took my first drink, and that seems crazy, right? But by 11, I was absolutely a full-blown alcoholic. Then, I kept it up, and this is a disease of progression.
Right.
So unfortunately, my life is not going in the best direction. My father then sent me to Pope John High School. He's like, let's get you out of Revere, and we're gonna, what, Pope John, it's just better drugs there, right?
Yeah.
More expensive drugs there. That's how I looked at it. And I remember, being a freshman and having to go into the locker, my locker in Downing, because I had the DT so bad. And it was rough, but it is what it is. And then I was introduced to Percocet, and then eventually to Oxycontin.
Okay.
Very, very happy that I didn't get, any further than that, because I'm an addict. So anything I'm addicted to. I'm also a psychotherapist, and I'll get into that later. But I believe anything that I have, I'm addicted. I'm addicted to, to love, to power, I think it's an addictive personality
definitely.
disorder. So then came in the oxys, and then, I can remember the first time ever taking an oxy. I was going around a Rotary, and I was like, I just met Jesus. Like, I truly felt like I met Jesus taking that oxy. And, they were expensive back then, so I wish I knew how I kept up that habit, but it was hell. for me, and it was sad. And it was I was dealing with problems at home with mental health, and I also had my mental health issues as well. So my mother had a lot of mental health things, so that was my coping mechanism, right? Because that's all substance use disorder is. It's a coping mechanism. We want to escape from something, so that's our escape route. So I got clean. I went to detox. I relapsed. I was taken under the wing of a very, very lovely young lady. But, it's part of the disease, unfortunately. I then went to detox again. And I remember it very vividly that I was over the toilet bowl and I was like throwing up. Now, this is opiate withdrawal, no joke. And it's pure oxy at that point. So I stopped drinking, right, because I had the oxy. So my family's like, you go, Nicole. Little they know, thinking that I was like sober. But no, I just found something better that I liked better. So I remember I said, I don't belong here. And she said, oh, you belong here. You're right where you're supposed to be, young lady. And I was like, no, you don't understand. I'm Nicole Barsky. I'm 19 years old. She's like, no, you're right where you're supposed to be. And I looked at her and I said, how much do you get paid to clean up my throw up? Just like a real ignorant just young lady. And she said, I volunteer here. And you have to get off of this high horse. You're a fucking addict. That was a quote, by the way. You're a fucking addict. You belong here just as much. Just because you didn't put a needle in your arm, you belong here just as much as everyone else in this place. I learned to love her. I listened to everything she said.
Was she older than you?
She was much older than me. She was about 20 years my senior. Her name was Bernie, and they're no longer open. It was out of Somerville Detox. Mm-hmm. And I wanted it. I wanted it. I could taste it. I didn't want to live like that. I didn't want to, be outside saying, oh, those look like his headlights. Is this him? Or, oh, this mother... like he's gonna keep me waiting, but then the minute he pulls up, I'm like, "Hey, buddy, how are you? Good to see you." So
then it changes.
So relieved, right? That he's like that he's there to give me my drugs, and I started sniffing them. So again,
progression.
Here's the progression, right? And so the lady Bernie, which if anyone can find her for me, I promised I would buy her a house, and I would buy her a condo. Maybe I can't afford a house these days, but she saved me. She made me see things differently, that I'm not special. This disease absolutely does not discriminate. And so I went through the detox. I went through the proper levels of care, the ASAM levels of care, and here we are, 26 years later.
That's awesome. You should be really proud of yourself because that's huge.
It's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Right? It's not, I mean, it's just, set your mind to do it. I never really got into, as we were just discussing, and this is a disclaimer because I go back and forth with people. This is nothing against AA. This is nothing against NA. This is nothing against anything. I love AA and I love NA. I know people that they've stayed sober for 40, 50 years because of AA and NA. I think it's social connection at the end and holding
you did it your way.
Accountable. I did it my way. And my way was Smart Recovery, which I now sit on the leadership board for Smart Recovery. And, I believe in it because it gives you tools. You need tools. It's great when you go into AA and you're able to talk and you're able to, identify with this person. So I have nothing against AA. I love it. Many people I love got sober from there. But Smart Recovery is what did it for me.
Let's talk a little about Smart Recovery and what the breakdown is of Smart Recovery. Because I feel like it's not talked about enough.
I agree. Well, let's do it. Okay. So Smart Recovery, the founding father is Joel Gernstein, who is a personal friend of mine. He took an interest in me because I was waving. I called them, and as you know, I've worked at many treatment centers in Massachusetts, so I was waiving the fee for everyone to become certified, because I think that it's like if I give you, the old saying, if I give you a hammer as a tool, then every problem's going to look like a nail, right? So we want to put in our toolbox, right? We want hammers, pliers. I don't know the names of any other tools, so I'm not going to put a wrench, maybe, perhaps, who cares, right? So that's how I became, and that's what he said to me. So what Smart Recovery is it takes God out of the equation. Now, I am a devout Catholic. It doesn't mean you can't pray. It doesn't mean you can't use Smart Recovery with AA, with NA, with Dharma Recovery, with Celebrate Recovery, with Refuge Recovery, because you absolutely can and you should. And we say that. So people also ask me about, so they're not fully abstinent. That is absolutely untrue. So let me
I've
just
heard
clear
that
up.
but I never imagined that was
So
like the way about it.
Right. So what I'll tell you about that is that the abstinence, we are about abstinence as far as drugs and alcohol. We are about minimization and controlled because it's addictive overall. So sex addiction, food addiction, shopping addiction, stuff like that. So you have to shop because you have to eat, right? So you have to go to the grocery store. So we say, so you can't just be absent from shopping. You can't be absent from sex because you have to, have babies and keep the world going. So that's where people kind of get Smart Recovery misconstrued a bit. We also offer tools, which I think is great, cost-benefit analysis, hierarchy of values, which I've done in every place that I've ever worked at, and people have been very, very receptive to it. So again, 1983, he comes up with this idea, and he's been working with it ever since. We now have an in and out program. It's for reentry for people that have been in prison for a while, because it's hard coming out after doing 20 years, right?
It's very hard.
As you know, I recently got engaged.
Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you. So I like to show the ring off when I say that, but honestly, it's hard to come out. So we try to, let them wear the hat. Like they've been told when to get up, when to, when to go to sleep, when to do everything. So, we try to help out, with reentry and a bunch of other things. So Smart Recovery is definitely where
it's about empowering the person.
It's about empowering the person. We don't believe in saying, so I'll give you an example. I've worked at many inpatients, and when they're being dropped off by their parents, their wife, you better do PHP, IOP, you stole from me, you did this, you did that. Let me educate everyone on something. Addiction is 100% a disease.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so if it was a cancer center, right, and I'm not cancer, addiction, they're both diseases, right? So, and I'm not minimizing cancer because, believe me, my fiance's grandson has cancer.
I'm sorry
Thank you, we appreciate that. If we were dropping someone off to a cancer center instead of to a treatment center, you know what would be? They'd be saying, "You've got this. Good luck. Here's some flowers. Here, I can't wait to bring you out to eat. You have this. Go get that treatment that you need in that cancer center."
Right.
We don't do that with treatment because of the stigma.
And there's a lot of stigma around it.
There is. There's a lot of stigma, and there's a lot of dramatics around. There's a bunch of dramatics around. Unfortunately, in this industry, there's a lot of dramatics, which it shouldn't be like that. We should all be together under an umbrella saying, we did this. We walked this walk.
It should be more of client-focused and less drama.
Right.
I agree. It's about the person. It's about how you can help them and how you can further their recovery or their journey rather than like a popularity contest or
and that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm not so I'll say what I say because that's who I am. It's not a popularity contest. It's not who's who has, whatever. It's about, if you get into this field, please get into it for the right reason. Okay, so I've been a clinician for almost 2 decades. I have 2 master's degrees, and it's all a popularity contest. And, that's unfortunate because it takes away from the patient that could die the next day. Because make no mistake, people die every day of this. So if this one's doing a little better than this one, or this one has, a new PhD, be happy for them. They're helping people.
It's supposed to enhance the quality of life.
It absolutely is. And unfortunately, we get involved with the drama. Well, I don't get involved with the drama. They could bring it, and that would be a bad day for them.
I've learned that when people do bring it to me from what I've gone through, instead of going at it head on and trying to explain yourself or defend yourself or explain what the scenario is, it's better to just remove yourself. And it shows a higher level of maturity and of class, because
Absolutely.
now, and I've done my fair share of, well, this one said this, so now I'm going to respond to it, and it's on a public post.
Right.
Everybody sees it. Now I've learned, oh, you want to say that? Okay, cool. And walk away. So you learn. And I feel like working in this industry has taught me over the years how to kind of mature, because you look up to people. So I think it's amazing that you have 2 degrees and that you've been in this for 26 years. My dad has over 30 years as well. So
Excellent.
I look up to people that have this amount of time, because if they can do it, for instance, friends of mine that are struggling now that can't do it, I always try to tell them, look at this person, they're doing it.
Look at Nicole Barsky.
Right,
If this dummy can do it.
No, don't say that.
Well, seriously, back then, if I can do it, there's no one on this universe that cannot.
I try to explain, look, so-and-so can do it. You can too. Look at what they're doing. Look at how they're living. They're great. They're going on vacation. They have a job. This is their life. It can be yours too. So you try to build people up and not take them down.
It's called mirroring, right? That's what I tell my patients. It doesn't suck to be Nicole Barsky at the end of the day, right? At one point it did. I go through trials. I go through tribulations just like everyone else. I just handle them without going to the drugs anymore.
You found other resources.
I found other coping skills, and I could go on and on about that, which I won't unless you want me to.
You can.
But stimulating the vagus nerve.
Okay.
Is the number one. For me, this is what I tell all my patients. Stimulating your vagus nerve, it's the best coping mechanism. And if you don't know what it is, I don't want to take off your time.
No. Go ahead.
But, okay. So stimulating your vagus nerve is, it immediately regulates you, and it's made of 5 things. So it's meditation, it's exercise, it's, don't freeze up now, Nicole. It's cold therapy. It's narrative therapy, getting, don't be suppressing stuff. And it's massage, foot massage, too. So, and there's another one I'm forgetting, but I will think about it. But all that really means is distraction.
Right.
Distract yourself, because cravings come, cravings go. And I'm going to tell everyone a big secret. And if you're my patient and you're watching this, you're like, I know what she's going to say next. But cravings go away. No one's ever come in my office and said, Nicole, my friend died of a craving last night. Right? So it loses the charge and the power in your neurotransmitters. So if you can get it, and they only last for about 6 minutes, they can last up to 30. But then you can get one right away. Here's the good news. So this might save somebody, and I pray it does, or help someone today. The good news is that the second, they're called batched cravings, the second craving that comes along, it will not hold the same charge
as the first.
It is impossible scientifically. So that's what Smart Recovery is about. We are scientifically based. We have, researchers that have researched this stuff. And little stuff like that. I remember when I heard that, I was like, I can live with that.
Right.
Let me distract myself for 20 minutes. I'll go in the shower, right? And, that's part of, stimulating the vagus nerve to loop that back in,
right.
like cold therapy. you know.
And it passes the sensation.
And it passes the sensation, and then if it comes right back, guess what? I know in my head it cannot hold the same charge. So go through 3 or 4 of them, and by the time that's done, you're already on to something else.
Right.
And that's helpful.
Do you like working in inpatient or outpatient better?
It's so funny. I was just talking to my fiance about this. So right now, so I was working inpatient for about the last 6-7 years on the CSS level and the detox level, and the mental health level. So yeah, I do all the levels. So they, you have to have the masters to be in the mental health. So I usually get veered towards there, but my heart will always be with substance. Anyone that works in this field has been touched by something. Obviously,
Right.
we don't just say, hey, let's get up and go in the substance use disorder field. You've been touched by something, a friend, and everyone knows a friend, a family member, yourself, anything. So I love inpatients, even though they come to my office 15 times a day. Right now, I'm currently doing outpatient in IHE, that's in-home therapy. So I'm currently doing that. But I was just talking to my fiance today and telling him that I'm thinking about going back into inpatient.
That's where your heart is.
CSS is the turning point, right? Detox, people come in for dry spins, that's cool, whatever. I don't,
Right.
But if you come in and you do the work at the CSS level, and I see you doing the work, you're going to win. I'm going to put in, I'll never work harder than the patient works. But if I see them doing the work, I'll help them a little bit more, because a lot of people want this, because a lot of people don't make it through the doors again.
That's right.
And they tell me all the time, I'm going to AMA, don't get mad, Nicole. Like, don't do it for me. Don't stay here for
Do
me.
it for you.
Do it for you. And when you're ready to do it for you, then come back. And I will welcome you with open arms and a kind heart.
Right.
And, that's just the way it is.
So you've been working in treatment for how many years?
19.
Okay, 19 years. Where do you see yourself going from here?
I see myself opening and doing it correctly without the drama. I would, resume. Do you do the drama? If the answer is yes, you're out. You're not hired. I see myself opening my own place, and I'd like to see it be ran correctly, because there's a lot of shenanigans, and that might be controversial to say, but you knew who you were invited onto your show today, right? So
You know who the host is, too.
right,
So.
and we know who the host is. So yeah. So I do see myself opening. I'd like to open an IOP, PHP, sober house, detox, CSS, and mental health. I'll do it.
You want to do it all?
I want
I
to do
love
it
that.
all. I want to help everybody.
See, when I first started, I went into Recovery Centers of America, and that was my first position.
Oh, really? I
did RSS there,
Yeah.
and I loved it. But then towards the end, I started getting tired of every 5 minutes you're up at the door scanning the door, scanning
Sure.
the
It's a
bracelet.
very hard job.
And I was like, all right, well, I have a lot more, knowledge than what I'm kind of doing. I got recruited to go to a different company, which was a PHP. And that was a drama-filled PHP. And after that, I said, you know what?
Which I know.
We're
which one it
taking
is.
we're taking a break right now, and we're gonna go and we're gonna start the nonprofit. So we started the nonprofit. Because we were donating money to nonprofits. And we didn't really know at the time, well, where is the money going? Because you're giving people money, you're having them go to sober homes. Are they getting the money and giving it to the, applicant that's getting the scholarship?
Right.
Or are they giving it to the house? Are they getting the full amount? Or are they taking a cut?
Right.
What's going on? So we had decided to open the nonprofit, and we started scholarshiping people. And that's hit or miss because we don't get federal funding. So it's all, recovery
I
base
applaud
of
you.
thank you.
I applaud you.
And I know you have
sincerely.
your nonprofit
I
too.
do have a nonprofit, Revere
And
Pride.
We'll talk about that in 1 second. But I know we started there, and then from there, I said, you know what, we're gonna open a house because I don't know how these houses are ran. And my dad's looking at me like, you and your bright ideas, Marissa. Like, come on, what are we doing? And we opened the 2 houses. And now that the chapter has closed, where they're both closed, we closed one to go to the next, but they were leases, so
Yeah.
you're not
You
you're
know,
not your landlord and you
Right.
can't do things
Yeah.
your way. But we decided at that point that it was going to be a break, and I took that break in February, and then we were blessed to be able to come here and film here, which is great. And I'm still getting used to like the scheduling and everything, but things, one door closes, another opens.
Absolutely.
And to think that, we have family that can't hear and see the message from us. Maybe we can be that message to someone else that has the same kind of block and can't hear and see it from their own family.
Well said.
No one likes to hear it from like their mom or their dad or somebody, but maybe they can hear it from us and take something from it. Let's talk about Revere Pride, because this is Revere TV. So
Revere is my this is my home city. This is my fiance's home city. This is where my children were brought up. I have two beautiful children, Sheila and Amber, and so Revere Pride is a nonprofit. I do not take any fundage from anybody because I don't want anyone, because we know the drama in Revere, right? Oh, she took the money and she got a new Porsche with it. Nah, I didn't do any of that. So I fund it just from myself.
Good. That's awesome.
And we just give back like turkey dinners.
I love that.
Yeah, if people, and I do it on the honor system. If you tell me that you need help, I'm not going to check into it and stuff. I'm hoping people, and I've been taken advantage of before, and I've and I just don't go back. We helped a lot with COVID. We give Christmas trees, Christmas presents, little things, and I do fund it out of my own funds. And, and so anyone ever needs any resources. And now I've also incorporated into Revere Pride, I've incorporated substance use. So like if anyone ever needs a referral, give Revere Pride.
They can come to you.
Come to me.
I love that.
I'll get it done.
What do you think the main reason people leave treatment at the early stages is? Is it fear, denial? What do you think the reason that
they're not
come
ready?
And go?
They're just not ready yet. They're simply not ready yet. And that's a hard truth, right? And I've sat in front of people for 6 hours at times, and I'm not bullshitting you here. I think you said I could swear. And if
you can.
We'll edit it later, right? And, I've told them the pros, the cons. Let's go through the costs and the benefits of this and stuff like that. Okay, Nicole, the minute I walk out the door, I have the case manager calling me. She's on the run, right? So they're like doing it for me because, you can't do it for the therapist. You can't do it for your mom, your son.
Right.
To get your son back, you have to do it for you. I really, truly feel like they're just not ready and they're not psychoeducated enough. Like, I try to teach that thing about the craving. They're like, I'm not done, Nicole. When someone says to me, I'm not done, Nicole.
They're not ready.
There's nothing not even I can pull something out of and I think I'm magic, for God's sakes, right? So not even I can say it. They're not done. I'll still psychoeducate them. Some people are just like, all right, she's done, get her paperwork done. I'm like, wait a minute, here's some resources.
Right.
I can't wait to see you again. Is we'll see each other again.
At some point.
And I pray that you come right through these doors. Don't ever be embarrassed. Brush it off. It's nothing. It's part of unfortunately, it's part of the disease and the cycle. And I've always welcomed all of my patients with open arms. And I feel like most staff does do that. I would hope, anyways.
I hope so. What about medicated assisted treatment?
Okay. So I think that oh, Marissa.
I have all the questions.
All the questions. I love it. I love you. I think that there is absolutely nothing wrong with Medicaid. MAT is fine if you're using it correctly.
That's how I feel, to be honest with
so
you.
if you're using it correctly, if you're going down to the methadone clinic and you're hanging out at Dunkin' Donuts and swapping your clonidine and your Klonopin, and you're still in that atmosphere, right?
You're substituting.
So if you go in, you receive your medication that is given by a doctor, and you leave and you go about your day, then I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. I know people that have been on it for 30 years and then have finally gotten off. But listen, if you have to be on it for the rest of your life and it keeps you sober and it keeps you alive, I say go do it.
Same.
Just do it the right way.
Correct. I love that because people look down on it, and I don't know why they do.
Well, because they're ignorant.
True, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think I'm gonna agree with you because that is like the truth behind it.
Ignorance is
But I think that if you're using it correctly and you're benefiting from it, and the benefits outweigh the risk, why not? Because if it's keeping you alive and you're able to get to your job and you're able to get to your meetings, you're able to go to your program, whatever you have to do and be able to be active in society, then go for it.
Go for it. It's just like chemo.
Right.
If you have cancer,
Absolutely.
go for it. Right.
I agree.
And that's, but just try to do it the right way. And we have so much. Back in my day, so I was put on the methadone clinic.
Mm-hmm.
My father made me go on the methadone clinic. Not that I shouldn't have been on there with an OC habit. It was a tough life lesson because it's almost glamorized in the methadone line, like how great dope is and how, you know what I mean? So I started getting curious, but I caught myself. And, so just, kind of be aware of your surroundings and stuff like that. And Suboxone, we have Suboxone, Sublocade. We have all of these different things with no wiggle room, especially for alcoholism, because I am an alcoholic from the giddy. And if anyone out there knows me, they know what's up. They know I'm not the funnest person to go to the bar with, But I don't want to be that person anymore anyways.
Times have changed.
Times have changed, absolutely.
What does the next 5 years look like for you? What's your 5-year goal?
So my 5-year goal is to open up my own practice, keep getting up every day, with a smile on my face, even if I don't feel like it, and helping the next person. And like this is the ring finger, by the way, like this to the haters. And that's just who I am. I've always been that person. I'm getting married, as you know, and we just, my future husband is the sole financer of Pressed, the movie Pressed.
That's awesome.
And the executive, I'm sorry, so I'm looking at him. What are you? Executive director. Executive director as well, and he acted in it, and I had a little 2-minute clip in it. So it was bringing awareness to what we're doing with these Pressed pills. We're killing people with the, bringing in the fentanyl and stuff. So we're trying to bring awareness to that. So that's Pressed. We're in the editing stage now.
When is that expected to be out?
So it's next year sometime.
Awesome.
And now we're working on the Patriarchal Purge, so we're just filmmaking.
Yeah, that's great.
Stuff, and trying to just bring awareness, not glamorize certain lifestyles. Right. But, it looks cute on TV and stuff, but there's a lot of heartache behind some of the stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So I see myself, with the Marino Entertainment. He's the CEO. I'm the real CEO, but we'll let him pretend he's the CEO. I'm in there with him with all his projects, and as well as I definitely want to open up my own place. But no matter what happens, I will be helping the next human being, because someone did it for me 26 years ago. I promised her I'd keep it going. And
that's how I feel with my dad. Like, my dad wouldn't have been my dad, and I have a great father that worked his ass off over the years to support me and my mom, and he got clean right before I was born, but I wouldn't have had him as a father if he didn't get clean, meet my mother. So, to me, he's my world. You know what I mean? So I would have never had him if he didn't go to Meridian House, walk to the court and say, put me somewhere else because I'm not going back there. Salvation Army finally did it for him, and he's, well over 30 years, and he's just keeps going. And it's he didn't really do and stick with. After a couple of years, he fell off with the meetings, but he was always in work. And he was always, with the family, and that kept him on his straight and narrow and where he is today. But if someone didn't help him, that's how I feel. I wouldn't have him. So you're grateful for who helped you.
Absolutely.
And who you've helped. Yeah. And that's just my give back.
Yeah. And this is my give back. I'm a woman of my word. I do what I say, and I say what I do, and I told her I'd help. And she gave me life. I get very emotional just thinking about her. She gave me life, a life that I thought was bullshit. Like when they used to come into the commitments with their coffee, I was like, there's no way that these people are not on something. There's just no way. It's impossible to live a life like that. I'll never have a car. I'll never have a house. I'll never have, and those are only material things, right? But again, it doesn't suck to be Nicole Barsky today, and I'm very grateful for that, truly.
If you could give someone one piece of advice in early recovery that they're contemplating leaving or they're contemplating going back to using, what would it be? Like, what would be your AMA advice?
So
AMA block
I was
advice.
the AMA blocker for. They actually made a position up for me at Danvers. So I used to say, let's go over the costs and the benefits, right? So there's benefits to using drugs. Sorry, I know I probably shouldn't say that, but I shoot the truth because I have the knowledge behind it. There's benefits to using drugs, and the benefit is usually escape, right? They want to escape something, euphoria. Who doesn't listen? If anybody could be high for the rest of their life with zero consequences, and you're an addict and you don't raise your hand, you're lying to yourself, right? If there was zero consequences. So what's the cost? What's the benefits? The benefit is you're going to go out, you're going to be high for 20 minutes, a half hour. Awesome. That's great. Then what's going to happen, right? So here comes the cost. Family, friends, career. You start, I've never heard someone coming back into treatment say, hey, Nicole, it's got so much better out there. Never, not once. They come in, they're like, it was horrific, it was horrible. And that's if they come back in, Marissa, right. Because that's not even a guarantee. That's never a guarantee.
Everything's cut now with fentanyl.
Everything's cut with fentanyl, and it's dangerous. Yep. It is so super dangerous. And again, that's why the movie press meant so much. It was so dear to my heart and so dear to my fiance's heart that we just wanted to bring awareness.
Yeah, because now it's everywhere and it's killing everybody.
Everyone, killing everyone.
I think people thought it was cool back in the day, they'll do coke, they'll do heroin, whatever. And to them, it was quote unquote pure. There's no purity anymore.
There's no purity in anything anymore.
And nothing.
Not even in Xanax. No. I had a friend drop dead because it was fentanyl. Right. A friend that was struggling, finally got sober, still had her Xanax prescription, and that's a whole other thing. People ask me all the time, what do you think about people that take Xanax that are, and that's another thing. But she took it from someone that it wasn't her prescription. That wasn't right. I'm not going to, point fingers or anything. And she dropped dead from it, period. She orphaned her children from it. So it's that serious.
It's very sad because people don't realize it and they think that, oh, my friend's getting it. Oh, this one knows this one, they're good. Oh, and it's not.
No, unless it comes right from that pharmacy or right. I mean, and the drug dealer down the street, right? He doesn't. You're putting new rims on his Mercedes,
right?
Well, you're scraping up change, right? He doesn't care what let's just call it what it is.
You're making him rich, and you're losing everything.
And you're losing everything, and you're kissing his ass, and you're doing things that just aren't, what you're about, what you want to stand for in life.
Yeah. And I think with recovery, unfortunately, even with mental health, we'll say mental health recovery, people do a lot of things and they lose values, right? And they lose morals and things start to depreciate. Once you get into recovery and you kind of like get back into a routine of things, or you work with a clinician and they kind of walk you down the road of, this is how you should be doing things. Here's your techniques. Here's your coping skills. You start to build back your morals and your values, and they come back into play.
Yes.
And we see that within the work that we've done and do.
Absolutely.
People do change their lives, and they come back around and are able to be there for their families and build from it.
It's a gift that keeps giving. Hierarchy of values. Sorry to keep plugging Smart Recovery, but
I like it. I think it's good.
Hierarchy of values is a great tool. Let me ask you, what's the most two important things in your life?
My mother and my father.
Okay, so your mother and your father. So those are your values in life, your mom and your dad. So we'll just say family. So you value them. But if you do the drugs, right, you lose them.
You lose it.
You lose them. So I used to do this trick. I'm going to give it away now. I used to give a piece of paper to everyone and say, give me your three or five values in life. And I used to hold it up and say, I know one thing that's not going to be on this piece of paper. And and it's never failed me unless like another patient says, oh, screw what Nicole and all. And it's never the drug. Heroin's never on that value, right? But yet heroin will destroy any...
It's something they've lost.
Right, exactly. So it's nothing that they value in real life, right? It's the 5 things that they did put on there, their dog, their family, their career. But yet that heroin's not on there because it's not on your frontal lobe. You don't really value it. That's, right. Yeah, and that, again, just little tools from Smart Recovery.
Tools. It's all about tools.
All about tools.
Give me your 3 best tools in recovery.
Stimulating your vagus nerve. I suggest everyone.
That's like top. Because I feel like when people go to the gym, the endorphins are so high from going.
You're like on fire.
You feel like you have a life high. You know what I mean? Yep. Like you're doing.
And I feel like you really do have a life high.
You do.
I feel great when
I feel great when I leave, and then like 2 hours later, I'm like back out again.
Me too. But right, but we have. But at least we have those 2 hours.
We did it,
right?
and like we did our goal for the day.
Did our goal for the day. So I would say definitely let's stimulate the vagus nerve. I would say, always outweigh the benefits and the costs, So that's Smart Recovery Talk. It's just pros and cons. So is it 10 minutes of getting high worth losing everything? Right. So I do that with gambling now. I'm very transparent in saying like I have addictive behavior patterns. So, if it's not one thing.
Me too. I have binge eating disorder. So, like, I'm hooked on sugar all the time.
All the time.
And now I'm trying to wean myself off of eating sugar.
We're going to talk after this. I'm going to get you off. So, what's the benefit of you eating the sugar?
Nothing. I gained massive weight from it.
Right. But there's got to be a benefit or else you wouldn't keep constantly doing it. You must like the taste. Are you stuffing feelings?
I think it's feelings. It's the stress. So I think I like self-soothe with it. And I'll be like, oh, ice cream, cool. I need that. I'm going to like Uber Eats that to the house. That's fine for me. Mm-hmm. And I'll pay the extra money instead of going to get it to have it sent to me. Because it's like, I'm not going to walk in there for the 3rd time this week. Like, just let it get sent to my house. Or like cookies. And I'll be like, thinking about it. And then once they're done, it's like, did I really need those? And then the guilt sets in after. Yeah. So it's definitely like a feelings thing.
Right. So I would say as a mental health, you stuffing your feelings. And we'll talk about it later, right? But so that's the benefit of the sugar. The cost is diabetes. You feel like not so great after having them. And
the clothes don't fit no more.
Clothes don't fit anymore. We're women. We still want to keep it fresh and funky, right? So, and just let me highlight again the diabetes. Like
that's like the most important.
The health right. aspect of it and stuff like that. So, just little tools like that. So, did I give you 3? So
I think 2.
Cost benefit analysis, stimulating the vagus nerve, and get up every morning, look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I am deserving of a good life. Everyone is deserving of a good life. I don't care where you're from, what you're doing. Everyone deserves a good life.
I believe in that. And I think that everybody has the willingness in them to be able to make a good life. They just need to find it.
And routine is important, right? I always say, like, get a routine. If you get up and you have nothing to do and you don't feel like you have a purpose in life, go out and find one.
Idle time is the devil's playground.
I love that saying and couldn't agree with you more. Like,
do you have anything you want to close with? That we haven't touched on?
I thought we were going for like another 2 hours. I didn't even start yet.
No, what? We do about 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh, God. All right. Book me for 5 hours next time. I just want to close with saying truly everyone is deserving of a good life. Everyone deserves happiness, respect. Stay away from the drama. And I'm saying that probably personally because, I know that you, and as well as myself, I brought, drama follows me everywhere. I don't
It's
want.
like I got it written, like,
Yeah.
come find me, like,
Right,
across my
come on
head.
in. I don't need your job. If I wanted it, I would have had it.
That's right.
I'm just trying to help the next person, and I know that's what you're about. So stay away from the drama. Stay in the present moment, because this moment right here that's happening, you and I looking at each other with these beautiful pink microphones, Vinny over there, this moment will never happen again in time. So stay present. Don't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow, right? Don't worry about
today.
right. Don't worry about what happened 10 years ago, right? Go visit your inner child, get some EMDR, do whatever. I am an EMDR therapist, by the way. I'm not plugging myself, I have a wait list. But, visit the trauma, do all that, because, trauma is the gateway. I'll close with this, because I'll keep rattling on and on. Trauma is the gateway drug. It's not marijuana. Trauma is the gateway drug. That is my belief. And, I think that, we all experience different levels of trauma, of course. I lost both of my parents to suicide.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And guess what? I did not drink. I did not drug. Did I want to?
Absolutely.
Yeah. After a couple of decades of being sober, I wanted to. But what good would I have done, right?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. So I close with saying everyone is much deserving, and I wish everybody always nothing but the best, and sober is better.
It is. I'm really proud of you because you got a lot out, and that was really good.
I always get a lot out.
You got like all of the topics, that you needed to get out first. And then I'm going to start getting emotional because of what you just closed with. And that was like the cherry on the top. Like,
what did I close with? I can't remember what I said.
About how people they're deserving of a better life. And
absolutely.
how you went through a hard time and how you overcame it without using substances. And
two people killing themselves.
Exactly.
My mother and father orphaning me.
You were able to
use
overcome
my coping skills.
Right. Something that was very traumatic, and use your experience of your recovery and your tools in your toolbox to go forward in a positive way. And look at you today. You're doing amazing things. You have a great life for yourself, and you're able to advocate for others. And I think that's great. So
thank you. I appreciate that. And I want to also, as I always do, thank you for all of your work that you do in this community. I don't think it shines upon enough, but I really, I appreciate from one woman to another everything that you do. And
it's a learning curve. You make mistakes, you move on from them, you try again, and you just keep building.
Keep building.
One brick at a time.
One brick at a time. I love that.
Well, Nicole, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. This wraps up another episode of Resilience Unscripted. Bye.
Bye-bye.